So, 5 years ago, I made a video about my experience in the Air Force. Okay, so I'm back. I had to take the glasses off. I could not see. The light was in my eye, but we're back. Let's go. Okay. 5 years ago, I made a video talking about my experience in Air Force Reserves. Honestly, didn't expect for the video to do so well, but over the years, I've been reading through the comments and I was like, let me come back and clear up some really good questions that y'all had. You asked questions ranging from VA loans to bonuses, how switching from active duty actually works, and a lot more really good questions. So today we're gonna take a deep dive. If you've been on the fence about joining or you're just confused about the recruiter talk, then let this video be your manual. So let's start with the number one thing you guys asked about as far as benefits. So specifically education and housing. So first up, let's talk about tuition assistance, also known as TA. A lot of you asked if this covers certifications such as housing or existing student debt. The truth for that is yes and no, but let me explain. Standard tuition assistance is primarily for future education, degrees, and sometimes certifications that are part of an accredited program. They pay $250 per credit hour, so that's $750 for 3 credit hours. For a simpler breakdown, you'll be able to pay for about 6 classes or 18 credit hours per physical year using your TA. The cap out is $4,500 per physical year for the tuition fees, and they'll be paid directly to your school. The military's physical year is from October to October. As far as the existing loan debt relief, the answer would be yes and no. TA in itself does not pay off your existing student loans. This is a separate program called Student Loan Repayment Program, also known as SLRP. So be mindful, not every AFSC, which is the word we use for jobs, qualifies for this program. So this program is usually reserved for critical career fields only. In the reserves, they will pay up to $3,500 annually for certain federal loans, but it's in exchange for a 6-year contract. To some of you, that may sound like an odd exchange, definitely after hearing the 6-year contract part, but here is a bit of information that I'm sure most of you don't know, because it's a question that keeps coming up and up. With the National Guard or the reserves, the minimum time you have to sign for is 6 years. Only with active duty is the minimum 4 years. A lot of people didn't know that. Active duty minimum is 4. Guard and reserve, you have to sign for 6 minimum. Now we're going to talk about a really big one, and it's the VA home loans. So the comments were flooded with confusions. The question was like, do I get it after 90 days? Do I have to deploy? Do I get it right after I sign my contract? And the thing is, as a reservist, you can become eligible for a VA home loan in one of 2 ways. So option 1, you can simply just complete your 6-year contract, but in those 6 years, each year, you must be sure to complete these 3 things. So the first thing would be you just showing up every drill how you're supposed to, every designated drill. Each physical year, they will give you a schedule so you have all of your drill dates in advance. If ever any drill dates come up and they conflict with something you already have planned, like a wedding or a cruise, any type of event, maybe you just simply don't want to come, you can inform your supervisor and they can excuse you from that drill, and you'll be able to make that drill up on a certain day that y'all pick. The second thing is simply completing all of your annual tours. We call those AT for short. So it's basically mandatory training for 2 weeks out of the year. So that's in addition to your drill dates. For me, mine was always in June with my unit. You'll be put up in a hotel of your choice. You basically are active duty and on orders for 2 weeks. You're literally active duty. Doing all of your drills and completing each year in good standing. Good standing would be the third thing you have to make sure to do. So do those first 2 things, you will be in good standing. As long as you fulfill all your drills, all your AT requirements, and you finish each year in a good standing, you'll get the VA home loan really, that much sooner. So also know that you can also reschedule your ATs as well if that's ever needed. For example, if you were to deploy and that's in that same physical year, then you can skip AT. Option 2 for receiving your VA loan would be serving a consecutive 90 days on active duty orders. Basically, you would need to deploy or something like a TDY. A TDY is basically a stateside deployment, we call it. For example, a Category 5 hurricane hits Florida, and then they deploy your unit out to help and assist. They'll put you on orders for that. If you are on orders for 90 plus days, that's the goal, right? If you're on orders for 90 plus days, you will qualify for your VA home loan a lot sooner than 6 years. But be sure that you know that that excludes your basic training and tech school orders. Tech school and basic training schools, that doesn't go towards your 90 days. So basically, joining and finishing training does not instantly give you a VA loan. You either need to do the whole 6 years, or you can pick up a deployment as long as it's 90 days plus or a TDY. All right, so next we're going to talk about bonuses real quick. That was a really big one. So just know that those change quarterly. For example, whenever I signed, I got a $20,000 enlistment bonus, but it could have been that way for that day. But today they could be offering $30,000. It could be zero. Bonuses are pretty much how desperate the Air Force is for that specific job in that specific moment when you're signing up. It depends on how much they quote unquote need bodies at that time you're signing up. And if the bonus is a deal breaker for you, be sure to get that in writing before you swear in. All that will be stated in your contract, but make sure you see it before you sign and before you swear in. For those of you who absolutely feel like you need a bonus, just make sure you can kind of set yourself up for success. Tell your recruiter, hey, based off my ASVAB scores, what jobs with bonuses do I qualify for? Moving on to stuff that actually affects your day-to-day life. Many of you asked about drill locations and travel. In all reality, you can go to any base you want as long as it's a reserve unit. But to me, would that be smart? The real answer is no. Yes, the Air Force does pay you for driving mileage if you are more than 75 miles outside of the radius of the base. But to me, it's really not worth it. Think about having to drive 3, 4, 5 plus hours after a long drill weekend on a Sunday. So on Sundays at my unit, we used to have really early days. We'll come in early, but we'll leave early. For the reserves, you do have to work a full day to get paid. So the minimum work day is about 8 hours. You may even have to stay longer, but that's up to your commander. You're at his discretion, whatever he decides to do. All of this is monitored because you have to swipe in and out. Every morning you come in, you swipe. When you leave, you swipe, so they know where you are and what's going on. This is mainly done for accountability, but it also ensures that you are paid for a full day of work. You don't get overtime if you were there for 12 hours. That's up to your commander, just so you know. If you're local, meaning you live within the 75-mile radius, you will not be provided with a hotel, gas mileage, or anything else. If you live outside the appointed radius, that's when you'll be provided lodging. The best thing for you to do is go to the reserve base that's closest to you. In some occasions, the base near you just may not have your AFSC. That's happened before. Then you would have to travel a little bit further. But in the end, it's all really your choice. A good example of this, when I first joined the reserves, my base was just barely 2 miles outside of the radius. And I was still sure to get a hotel every drill. After I moved to North Carolina, instead of my one-way commute being 1 hour and 20 minutes to drill, it became 5 hours. Could I have changed bases? Yes. With some people, yes. But at that time, I was already so invested in my unit and I had so many friends and, you know, so many memories there. So I really didn't want to start over. You really could make long-term friends and you will get attached to these units and these people. Just make the best decision for you when it comes to picking your base. The next question, will I get deployed immediately after training? So many people are scared of this scenario. The answer is it depends on your unit. It depends on the timing. The Air Force works on a deployment cycle. So your unit will be deployable every 2 years, 3 years, depends on the unit. They call it like deployable phases. If you join a unit that is about to enter its deployment window, right after you finish tech school and you come in, you could deploy. I mean, maybe other people already signed up before you got there. They don't need you, never know. But generally, they want you to do your CDCs first, which is also upgrade training. You are not usually thrown into the fire on day one, but remember, you are joining the military and deployments are a part of the job. The reality is, if you are absolutely terrified to deploy, then maybe the reserves or the military in general isn't a good fit for you. I personally did 2 deployments and I had a lot of fun. I did miss my family, of course, but I did save a whole lot of money, got that much closer to that VA loan, and I set myself up for success during those 6 months away. Go to the gym, go to school, do something. It's definitely worth it, and the time will fly. You'll come back home a better person. Touching quickly on job selection. So unlike active duty, where you make a wish list and they put you where they need you, in the reserves, you are hired for a specific vacancy. You can literally look at a list of openings at your local base, talk to your recruiter, and say, I want this specific job. If you qualify for that job off of your ASVAB scores, it's yours. You have more control over your career path in the reserves versus active duty. That goes for guard as well. I saw a lot of comments from prior service people wanting to go from active duty to reserves or vice versa. So switching from active duty to reserves is a really easy way to go. So it's called the Palace Chase program. So leaving active duty early. The Palace Front program is transitioning right at the end of your contract. It's a really good way to keep your benefits and your rank. And it's really easy to go from active to reserve. If you're wanting to switch from reserve to active duty or guard to active duty, that's a lot harder. Active duty doesn't always take prior service. A lot of times people don't get in. They have select slots through the year. So if you think you might want to do active duty eventually, you should just start active duty and don't use the reserves or the guard as a try it before you buy it type thing, because it's really hard to switch later and it rarely will work out. You'll probably never go active duty if you started as a reserve or a guard. Finally, officer pathways. So a lot of you asked how to become a pilot or officer in the reserves. The reserves loves what we call a deserving airman. So this is where you enlist first, learn a job, get a degree, then you apply for a commission within your unit. It is competitive, but units love hiring officers they already know and trust. So you can also apply specifically for OTS boards off the street, but these are extremely competitive. So if you want to fly, you need to rush to a unit, literally visit them, meet the pilots, and get them to hopefully sponsor your package. Basically put in a good word. They know you, you're a great candidate. You know, it'll really get you in the door. Lastly, I would love to say the Air Force Reserve is what you make of it. It can pay for your school, get you, you'll be debt free for school, help you buy a house, give you a financial jump start in life, give you cheap and amazing healthcare benefits for you and your family, give you a career, you name it, but it definitely requires for you to manage your own career. It's not like somebody's holding your hand like active duty where they tell you what to do and how to do it, when to report, the blase. They don't do that for reserve. You're in control of yourself. I really hope this video helps some of you to decide if the reserves is best for you. I joined literally a week after my 20th birthday, went off the basic and everything, and it was the best decision I ever made. So many memories, so many experiences, so many benefits for me and my family for life. If there's any other questions you have about specific topics, be sure to comment below. I would love to answer those questions for you. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll be dropping more videos about the Air Force Reserve, my experience, from PT requirements to even my 2 deployments. I went to Abu Dhabi and Kuwait. So if you have any questions or if you want to hear about that, go ahead and subscribe and be ready for those videos to drop.